What do you do for what type of sales do you do?
What is up, everybody? Sorry to mute you and kill the conversation. I'm just live on a couple other channels, so I'm actually on a freaking timer today that I can't mess up that much. And what is up, everybody? Sorry to mute you. Why am I getting a bunch of echo? Apparently, we don't know how to use this. Let me figure this out real quick. Shut up, Instagram. All right. That was Facebook. Facebook was trying to screw this whole thing up, and I don't want to hear myself because that's just weird. Have you ever left like a voicemail and ever hit that listen to your voicemail button? It is the worst thing you can ever do for your confidence and ego. You listen to your voicemail and you're like, man, I don't sound like that much of a bitch. Like, I am way more manly than that. So don't do that. Anyways, today we are going to talk about the art of selling yourself and really how to command respect before you ever even speak. So this is like the type of person that you go to an event, you get around, and they just walk into the room and everybody wants to know what the heck is going on with them. This is the type of person that you see go into an interview, and before they've even been asking interview questions, they are getting the dang job. Everybody freaking loves them. So we're going to talk about how to do that yourself today and give you the skills. We're going to roll for a little bit here. So before we open this up, because I am going to hit questions at the end of this call, I need you to just listen carefully for, I don't know, about 45 minutes is what I think I got planned. Yeah, this looks like about 45 minutes to me. So put your phones down, close like any tabs you have on your screen, and really lock in and be present on this call. Because we're about to cover today the exact reason some of us are missing deals. And the reason some of us are failing to build incredible teams or leading our families at a high level. You can use this skill anywhere, guys. This isn't just for the office. So we're going to quit losing respect, quit losing the dang deals, and we're going to quit losing our confidence before we even open our mouth. So if you're in this room right now, you're probably in sales, or you don't think you're in sales, but guess what? You better go home and sell yourself to your wife every night. Sell yourself to your freaking kids. We got some LEOs on here. You better get good at interrogating and building rapport, because your job is to sell yourself to the potential criminal for them to actually trust you. It's crazy. I recommend anybody, if you do talk to cops, people are going to hate it. Do contact your attorney. They don't have any good questions to ask you, so make sure your attorney's present at all times. I'm just messing with you. If you're my man there, give him all the info. It makes his job a lot easier and a lot less paperwork. Just a bit to everything. Be a good person. But, so, screwing around. So here's the hard truth. Most people in their industries never actually figure this out. The product you are selling is not the car. It's not the roof. It's not the insurance policy. It's not the house. It's not the software. It's not even really what your compensation plan is if you're interviewing people. The product is actually you. 99% of the time. People do not buy products. They buy certainty. They buy authority. They buy trust. And if they do not buy you, they're not going to buy what you're selling. You have to have the best product on the market, the lowest price in the state. You can be the most logical presentation that they've ever seen. And it doesn't matter. Because if the person sitting across from you doesn't believe in you, the man or woman delivering it, the deal is dead. So you are selling yourself every single day. When you walk into your office every morning, you're selling yourself to the manager. You are telling them whether you're going to lead or you're a liability for the day. Just by the way you walk in through the door. When you walk up to the customer, you're selling yourself to that family. You are telling them whether or not they are in the hands of a professional who is going to protect them or an amateur who is just trying to hit a quota. And then at the end of the day, when you walk into your house at the end of the day, you're selling yourself to your wife and kids. That you're the leader at home. You are telling them whether or not they can trust you, or maybe you're tired, or maybe you're a defeated man who they need to take care of. And some of us are walking around with just a terrible self-pitch. You're walking in the rooms with your shoulders slumped down a little bit, your eyes darting all over the place around the room where we could tell you're having an anxiety attack. Your voice trails off at the end of your sentences. You use weak passive language. And then you wonder why every customer out there is asking for a discount. You wonder why your team does not respect you. You wonder why, your wife doesn't want to follow. It's because you have not sold them on your authority. You have not sold them on your certainty. You have not sold them on you. So for the next 40 minutes or so, we're going to break down 5 elements of personal authority today. We're going to look at exactly how elite men and women walk into a room, command respect, and control the frame before they ever even say a single word. And I promise you this, if you master these 5 things, your closing ratio is just going to double. Your income will skyrocket, and people are going to respond to you in every area of life in a completely different way, because you're no longer asking for your respect, you're commanding it. So let's get into it. So the first thing we got to talk about it is your posture and presence. And even if you sell over the phone, this applies to you. So the first element of selling yourself is your posture and presence. Most people think communication starts when they open their mouth, and that's complete crap. Communication starts the second someone lays their eyes on you. Your body language is speaking long before your voice ever does. In the military, we understood this better than anyone. When, for example, a high-ranking officer walks into a room, the entire room shifts, and that's because of a little fear. But I want you to think about it a little bit further. You see a lot of the movies, and the movies are a little bit of an exaggeration, but you see the U.S. military kicking in doors and making a lot of noise and screaming and shouting and doing all this cool stuff. As far as communication with the team, there's no point in screaming to tell some dude to get the F on the floor. But when you've got a bunch of dudes who are between 5'10" and 6'2", loaded up in gear so they look bigger than they really are, making a crap ton of noise, it doesn't matter what language you speak. Everybody understands the words "get the F on the ground." And they quickly do it. The reason is you take presence of that room. You don't want to actually have to shoot anyone and take them down. So if you could just make them think that the fight's not worth fighting through your voice and through your actions, you're going to save yourself a lot of time. So now think about this though. The average salesperson that hold on. The average salesperson, like walking up to a customer on a lot, right? Or someone walking into a boardroom, or just whatever the heck you sell. Think about the average guy for a second. Like really, if you're maybe at the dealership or you're at the office, look around you and look at somebody right now, just a couple people. Do they have their shoulders kind of rolled forward, hands in their pocket? Are they shuffling around a bunch with the customer, being all over the place, maybe even looking at their dang phone? I don't know. Are they leaning against the desk? Do they look freaking exhausted and checked out before the day even starts? Take a minute. Look around. What does that posture communicate? It communicates weakness. It communicates lack of confidence. It tells the customer, I need this deal more than you need me. Real talk. It tells the customer that you're not a freaking professional. And customers are predators when it comes to weakness. The second they smell that you are not confident, they will take control of the entire interaction. They will dictate the terms. They will demand a discount because your body language tells them that they can. So I want everyone on this call to do something right now. And don't just listen to me, do it. I want you to sit up in your chair right now, or if you're standing like I am, or if you're in a car, like whatever version that is, sit up, pull your shoulders back, lift your chin a little bit, and put both feet flat on the floor and take a deep breath. That's it. Sit straight up, chin up, and take a deep breath. And then feel that difference for just a second. Feel how that actually shifts your internal state. Your physiology dictates your psychology. If you walk like a victim, you will think like a victim and you're going to sell like a victim. But if you walk like a leader, you will think like a leader and you will sell like a leader. So when you walk into a room, you need to own the space. You do not shrink to make other people comfortable around you. You do not apologize for being there. You walk in with the posture of a man who knows exactly who the heck he is, exactly what he is doing, and exactly what value he's going to bring to the table. So let me give you a tactical example here real quick. When you are presenting numbers to a customer, most salespeople are going to like slide the paper across the desk and then lean back in their chair, and they physically retreat from the numbers and they create distance. What does that tell the customer? It tells the customer that you as the salesperson are scared of the price. An elite closer is going to do the exact opposite. They slide the paper across the desk and they lean in. They plant their forearms on the desk with an upright position, not slouched, and they take up space. They close the distance. Their posture says, this is the price. It is exactly what it should be, and I'm not moving. And if you want to go to the next level, here's what Andy teaches, and I absolutely love it. If you're working in a business where you close face-to-face, instead of being face-to-face, slide around to the same side of the table as the clients. You'll reduce all the friction. It's amazing. You'll become one of them on their team, but you still got to meet them with that confidence and the posture of saying, hey, this is my element here. So here's an action step for you. This call, I loaded with action steps. I really wanted you to be able to implement some things today. So make sure you're writing some stuff down. So before you ever approach a customer, before you ever walk into a meeting, before you ever, walk through the front door of your own house tonight, you do a posture check. Are your shoulders back, chest wide open, head up? You walk with a purpose. You don't just meander around, and you start living like a man on a mission. I promise you, put just a couple alerts in your phone to remind you to do a posture check today. And I promise you, this alone, if this is all you take from the call, that alone will raise the status of your day. And by the end of it, you'll be like, I get it. I'm going to walk around with a new level of confidence today. Because when you carry yourself with authority, people unconsciously will submit to your leadership. Most people want to be led. People are desperately looking for someone to lead them, but they will only let themselves be led by someone who looks like they know what the heck they're doing. Next, and I think this actually, I got a question about this on 2 or 3 calls ago. Eye contact and the power of the gaze. Someone asked me, what's making too much eye contact? And I was like, I don't know, dude. Don't be too creepy with it. But at the same time, it's not that dang creepy. We just think it is because we're scared. So I could tell everything I need to know about a man's confidence, his conviction, and his ability, and his closing ability by how long he can hold eye contact when the pressure is on. And I thought about this one for a second because I'm trying to use the right words, because we're all afraid of too much eye contact. I don't really think it exists unless like your face is making some weird gestures with it. So most people use eye contact to just check in. They look up at you and then they look away at whatever the heck they're doing or the floor. Elite communicators use eye contact to lock in. Think about the hardest moments in the sales process. When you're asking for the close, when you were dropping the price a little bit, when you're asking the hard pain questions to the customer and you can tell they don't really want to answer. Or maybe you're handling a big objection, right? Where do your eyes go in those moments? Do you look down at the desk? Do you look at the paperwork? Do you look over their shoulder? Or maybe you start looking at your computer screen. Listen to me for a second though. If you break eye contact when you ask for the money, you just told the customer that you don't believe the price that you just gave them. You just communicated fear, and the customer can smell it. And guess what? They're going to eat you alive. Eye contact is the transfer of certainty. think about, you go back to your dating phases for some of us married guys in here. When you were just trying to get with your girl and you were getting real deep with her across the table, did you lock onto those eyes? Did you make sure that she could fill your soul when you were speaking to her? It's the same thing. When you look a man dead in the eyes and say, this is the right decision for you and your family, sign right here, you are transferring your conviction to them. You are lending him, you're going to be lending him your certainty so he can make a decision he is afraid to make. If your eyes dart away to the side, the transfer is broken. The certainty leaks out of the room. As a matter of fact, I challenge you to pay attention to my Zoom call. When I'm trying to look at my camera, see how you feel. When I look away because I'm looking at your guys' faces, which I got to quit doing, see how it makes you feel. Or when I look down and check my notes, see how it makes you feel. When I'm locked in, focused, and I'm not checking my notes as much, you guys know I'm speaking with more certainty. I'm not BSing as much. I'm not really BSing any of it, but occasionally I like to go off script, like right now. And you'll feel that. But I want you to on the Zoom call, next time you go, where the hell is he going with this? Look at where my eyes are. I promise you, they're probably not locked right here. By the way, this is my normal eye level for the camera. It's a little bit off on Zoom. It's getting goofy, so deal with it. But help me out here real quick. Drop a 1 in the chat right now if you know you're struggling with breaking eye contact when things get uncomfortable. I just want everyone to be honest there. And just let me know, because I know there's some other people. Look at that. We got some people. Dre, appreciate you. You got a little bit. Get your name on your Zoom call so I know who you are. Chad, we all struggle with it. It's 2026. It's normal. But if you master it, you're going to be killer. So remember this. We say it a lot. Comfort is the enemy of greatness, and comfort is the enemy of closing. So here's the rule for eye contact. You hold it until they break it. See, I finally figured out how to answer the question from 2 or 3 weeks ago. You hold it till they break it. When you're asking a closing question, you look them in the eye and you do not blink. And you do not look away and you do not speak. You hold the tension and you're going to let the silence do the heavy lifting. Most salespeople talk themselves out of deals because they can't handle the silence. They can't handle the silence because they can't hold the eye contact. They ask for the close and the customer stares at them and the salesperson gets uncomfortable, looks down and says, but we could probably work on the price if we need to. You just killed the deal. Let me give you another example here. When a customer gives you a ridiculous objection, hey, I need to go home and think about it, most salespeople look away and say, okay, I understand. The elite closers walk into their eyes, they don't blink, and they say, John, what is there to think about? And just hold the gaze. That unbroken eye contact says that you are not afraid of your objection, of their objection. And you're not intimidated by their stall. And you're there to help them make a decision. I'm telling you, if you can master the art of unbroken eye contact, you will instantly separate yourself from 99% of salespeople in your industry. Because 99% of salespeople are terrified of the tension. So be the man who embraces tension. Be the man who looks the customer in the eyes and says, I've got you. And actually mean it. A little test you could do at your dealership or your sales org, whatever the heck wherever you're selling. Same thing. Look around your showroom floor. Look at the next salesperson that goes to greet a customer. And then when they shake their hand, see if they break eye contact. Because I promise you, 99% of them are. And most of us on this call probably are. And that little fix, it'll change everything for you. Next, let's talk about tonality, the weapon of your voice. Your words only account for about 7% of your communication. Think about that. That's a Stanford study. 7% of your communication is the words that are actually coming out of your mouth. That's why when we talk about how to handle objections and word tracks, I get so everybody wants to know the magical words. It's not magical words, it's magical tone. Now, do you need to know how to speak and not sound like a complete idiot and talk yourself out of deals? Absolutely. But the words coming out of your mouth are only about 7%. 38% is your tonality. So your tonality is 4 times more powerful than the words that you're saying. And then the other part, about 55%, is your body language. That means how you say it and how you look when you say it matters infinitely more than what you're actually saying. You can have really the best script in the world. You can memorize every word track that's ever come out. Andy Elliott, Grant Cardone, Zig Ziglar, freaking all the guys. You can have every single one down to a T. And you can know every rebuttal to every objection. But if your tonality is weak and you sound like a scripted robot, the customer is going to put up a wall and you're going to lose the deal. Your voice is your weapon. It is an instrument. And most of us only know how to play one single note. You sound exactly the same when you were greeting the customer as you do when you were closing the deal. And there's a massive mistake there. So there are 3 primary tones that you need to master to sell yourself effectively. The first tone is absolute certainty. This is a tone you use when you are stating facts, when you do have to drop the price, when you tell them why your product is the best, when you tell them what the next step is. And here's the key to having absolute certainty in your voice. 1, your voice is going to drop at the end of every sentence. Don't make it go up. When your voice goes up at the end of the sentence, it sounds like a question. It's called an upswing. So the price is $40,000. That sounds like you're asking them if the price is okay. So listen to the difference. Chad, the price of that vehicle is $40,000. Your voice drops and it flattens out at that little final, the final couple words. That's certainty, and it does not leave room for negotiation. The second is the tone of the reasonable man. So we got the tone of authority. Now we got the tone of the reasonable man. This is the tone that you use when you're handling objections. You don't get defensive. You don't get loud. You don't sound argumentative. You lower your volume slightly. You slow your pace a little bit, and you sound completely reasonable. So I hear exactly what you're saying, John. And if I were in your shoes, looking at these numbers for the first time, I'd probably feel the exact same way. But let me ask you this. Do you hear that? It disarms them a little bit. You're trying to lower their defense. You're not fighting them. You're sitting on the same side of the table as them. And then the third is the tone of the adjusted advisor. So this is like the late night FM DJ voice. Slow, calm, deep, a little bit intimate. You use this when you're connecting on an emotional level, when you're asking the deep pain questions, when you're getting to the root of why they actually need this product to protect their families or to save their business, whatever it might be. You drop your volume so they have to lean in to hear you. You slow your cadence a little bit. And Angelo, tell me what happens if you don't fix this problem today. You want to think about the last deal you lost. The one that pisses you off, right? Did you lose it? Or I want you to think about it. My words are hard. Did you lose it because you did not know what to say? Or did you lose it maybe because you sounded desperate, got a little bit defensive, or you were even uncertain when you said it, or there was uncertainty when you said it? You have to learn to play your voice like an instrument. You have to learn when to bring the energy up and when to pull it back down. You have to know when to speak with absolute authority and when to speak with deep empathy. The man who controls his tone, the frame, and the conversation is freaking deadly. And I'm going to go off script for 30 seconds here and tell you how to figure each one of these out and how to like adjust to it really, really quick. Take the notes that I just told you, write down the 3 types of voice that you need, and then think of a time outside of work in your life that you've had to use that style of speech and get a visual memory of it. For example, the tone of absolute certainty you might have used for a job interview or some big presentation that you won and you had to impress a bunch of people. Remember what that feeling was like, and then every time you need that for the customer, just have like a little hit point in your mind. You could use a little finger tap, you could use a pinch of the wrist, like whatever triggers you into that moment. Get there. The tone of the reasonable man. Maybe for some of us who have kids, sometime that you had to have a deep conversation with your kid that you couldn't push them too far either way, but it was serious. Remember what that's like and use that emotion when you're with the customer. And then the tone of the trusted advisor, same thing. When were you trying to pick up your wife or pick up your girlfriend and you had to slow it down a little bit and you had to get emotional with them? Think about that every time you need to bring that voice up with a client. It'll help you. So now we're going to talk about word choice a little bit. This is only 7%, but it is important because your words, if you like the neurolinguistic programming like I do, your words can control a conversation quite a bit. Now, is it the smallest part of your communication? Absolutely. But if I got a guy who can master his body language, but his tonality sucks and he's just, monotone, think about, here's a good one. And I know I had a cop on this call earlier. There he is. I think he's driving. But think about the cop that we've all been pulled over by once or twice. They're generally state troopers on the highway. Usually sheriff's deputies are a little bit more fun and city cops are 50-50, but they're usually highway patrolmen. They got the hat and everything. Just imagine this guy. And he pulls you over. And he's a good looking dude. He's built. He's not one of the fat cops. Like, you could tell this guy's working out. You could tell he's putting in the freaking reps. And he walks over to your car, but he's a complete dick. And he's only a dick for one reason, though. It's because he's monotone. So that guy's mastered the presence of the physical presence because that's what he's running his whole dang career on. But he gets to your car and he's just straight monotone. And then think of maybe a good interaction you've had with cops. I know we've all had them. I have, and I don't even do too much dumb crap anymore. It's just a fun cop to be around. For example, the other day, my neighborhood had like 5 cops in front of it. I live in a gated community. I was terrified. I thought we were like seasoned son of a bitch. And I pull over and I kind of drive by. They got some cars pulled over. I just roll my window down and the guy's just like, "Hey, dude." I'm like, "Am I good to go in?" And he's like, "Yeah, man." He's like, "Nice truck, brother. You want to trade trucks?" I go, "I don't know. Do I get to keep the light bar and the rifle?" And he goes, "You can have the light bar, but not the rifle." And I'm like, "Cool. I got a rifle in my house. We're good." And we just had a little bit of back and forth. But this cop, he was a little bit fat guy. He wasn't taking care of himself too much. He wasn't the big son of a guy, but he was a little bit off. But his tonality was just fun. And we had just a little bit of a good time. Imagine if you combined all these skills and then you took the 7% of communication that you need, the words, and you just added that on it. You will be unfreaking stoppable. So let's talk about word choice. Weak men use weak words. Leaders use language that commands respect. And if you want to sell with authority, you have to limit the language of hesitation from your vocabulary. You have to strip out every word that makes you sound unsure, makes you sound unconfident, or makes you sound subservient. So stop saying, "I think," and say, "I know." For many of you, I write these down because I hear "I think" all the time. I think that would probably be a good idea. I think you would, I know. Replace it 100% of the time. I promise you, if you replace it 100% of the time, even when you do think, you'll still sound better and you'll get better results. So get rid of "I think," replace it with "I know." Get rid of the word "maybe" and replace it with "absolutely." Get rid of "to be honest with you." By the way, that is the worst phrase in sales. It implies that everything else you said was a lie. Just say, "Here's the reality." Seriously, get rid of "to be honest with you." Because the minute I hear that from a salesperson, and I just bought my oldest daughter a car, so I had to deal with a lot of salespeople, and I was judging them. I'm a little judgmental when it comes to salespeople. I want to see how you're doing. They all suck, by the way. Many of them suck. I went back to the same guy that I've bought my last 2 Fords from. I mean, he's an hour and a half away, but I kind of like the guy. And I tried to give a couple Ford dealerships closer to my house an opportunity, and just the salespeople pissed me off. And we even checked out some Toyotas and a GMC, so none of them were impressive. But the minute you say to be honest with you, I immediately assume, oh, okay, so you're lying about something else. Maybe it's just because I train on this. I don't freaking know. But like those words just hurt the ear. Okay, the next one, and get rid of this one. You should get rid of all these in your entire life because your wife will like you a little bit more and she'll see the confidence. But this one you need to really get rid of at home. You need to get rid of at work, with your customers, with your subordinates, with your superiors. You just need to get rid of this. Stop saying, I will try, and say, let me get it done, or I will get it done. Either one works. Let me get that done. And then this one. Another one. This is like, that to be honest with you, it drives me nuts. When you end something and you say, does that make sense? That makes you sound like you don't know, that you don't believe that you explained it well enough. So change that up to, are you with me? Because it elevates you. And when like during your speech, when you use a lot of these filler words, you use minimizing language. You are actively chipping away at your own authority. And you're telling the customer that they are not sure, that you're not sure about yourself. Let me give you a massive one in sales. Stop asking permission to lead the customer. Amateurs ask for permission. Professionals give direction. Okay, here it is. And this will change your closing percentage. Promise you. Let's say you're going to throw the numbers on the table again. Everyone's bought a car, so you kind of know what that looks like. Salesperson comes out with a piece of paper, 4-square printout, whatever version they use. And it goes something like this. Would it be okay if I showed you the numbers? Weak. Just say this. Let us go look at the numbers. It's just a little change in the psychology, how they're about to perceive it. Or do you want to come inside and sit down? Instead, just follow me. Let's get out of this dang heat. Or my salespeople, like I always had salespeople struggle with this and I never got it. But it's because it's how you ask. Most dealerships, I got to have a copy of your license to go on a test drive. It's just dealership insurance policy. So quit fighting freaking automotive salespeople on that crap. It's not their fault. But you usually get fought when you ask, hey, can I have your driver's license? Just say this. Hand me your driver's license. Where'd my law enforcement officer go? Where's he at? Is he still here? Do you ask people for their driver's license, or do you just say, hand me your driver's license? You're on mute and you're driving, brother. I don't need you to have to write yourself a ticket. That's all right. The correct answer is most likely they command the driver's license or the proof of insurance or the registration, right? They don't ask for it, because when you ask, there's an option to say no. When you command, the option to say no is off the table, and the only way you're going to say no is you got to get a little bit aggressive. And then when you get aggressive, guess what? Now I can maybe find some probable cause to go a little bit further with your ass. Use that trick a lot when I was working CID for the Army. Many soldiers we were very rude to as they were coming through the gate slightly intoxicated because we needed to search them for something else. And it's really easy to get someone with a buzz fired up a little bit. And the military is a little bit different. We, there's some chain of command stuff that we could throw in there. It was fun. Anyways, don't be a snitch. I'm just kidding. It was actually really fun. Don't do dumb shit. That's the real answer. So, people. Okay, let me stay on track for the end of this call because I do want to give time for questions today, and I'm all over the place. I'm just having fun. People are desperately looking for someone to tell them what to do. They are overwhelmed with choices, and they're stressed the heck out. They're afraid of making a mistake. They want an authority figure to step in, take them by the hand, and say, I have evaluated your situation, and I know exactly what you need. Here's the next step. But you can't do that if your vocabulary is full of doubt. You can't lead a customer if you're constantly asking them if it's okay to lead them. Audit your language. And I challenge every single one of you to record like a phone call and listen to it. Listen to yourself pitch. You're like, but I don't sell over the phone. You sell an appointment. real talk. I would just buy something that I couldn't afford. And generally, if it's a car, you can get, 45 to 90 days first payment, depending on the bank. And that would give me a month to 3 months to figure it out. And what's awesome is I've done it every freaking time. So that would be my 2 cents on it, Chad, is you could look at it from either way. You could look at it as something that's going to hold you back in life, or you could say, screw it. You know what? I'm worth this. I need to put my back against the wall. I need to go to another level. And then that pressure might help you break through, some sort of gap or some sort of struggle that you're struggling with there. So you could look at it either way, man. But I do believe to do unaverage things, you have to be willing to take unaverage risk. Otherwise, you stay where you're at, or you don't level up from it, or you don't cascade over that hill. So that's how I look at it, man. I think there's a definite benefit to putting your head down and saying, screw it, let's make it happen.
Yeah, I mean, okay, I understand, and I'm not trying to make excuses here, but I am terrified because I know that if this goes sideways, I could end up in prison. And that's what I don't want. I already have a marriage that's on the rocks. I've got kids that are 11 and 13 years old. I've got so much to lose if things go sideways.
Okay.
And I am, honestly, what I want to do is just get over this hurdle that I'm at right now, paying off the tax resolution company, paying back my boss, getting to the point where I have that settlement payment that I'm making to the IRS every month. Then I would